Hey, friends, time for a new adventure, brand new book called The Outsiders. And whenever we start a new book, I like to just kind of pick up the clues that are on the outside. You got this, well, it's not much, is it? You got the title, The Outsiders. We'll talk about that in a minute. And this picture, kind of with the t shirt and the black leather jacket. It doesn't give us a whole lot to work with, but knowing that this was published in the 60s, some of the things that I know about that time, which you may or may not be familiar with. There was a time when the kind of the black leather jacket, and especially over a t-shirt and certain hairstyles, which I'll come back to in a second, were associated with being tough and cool. And there were movie characters that kind of helped with that trend. In fact, I'll go ahead and spoil a little bit of what's inside. We meet the narrator, who's part of a group that refer to themselves and are referred to others. It's used kind of as a negative term by some, but it's kind of how they describe themselves. Greasers, and you may know about the famous musical Grease. John Travolta back in the day. Sandy and all those things. I encourage you to look into it if you don't know Grease. But it's called grease because they use a lot of product in their hair. And the greasers are marked primarily by their hairstyles. They wore their hair big. It's kind of like Elvis in his prime. That's another thing you might need to kind of look into and do a little research. But I assure you, older folks in your family know about that. The outsiders, that's a really important part. There's a lot of things that are going to be difficult for you to relate to because this takes place a long time ago. There's cars and fashions and references that may not make any sense to you, but they're still people, and people are people. It takes place kind of in the Western United States. I'm out here on the East Coast. There's a lot of things that don't really resonate with our everyday life. Some of the characters talk about riding in the rodeo. We don't have rodeos around here where I live, but there are some places where that's what you do on a weekend night. And so there's some cultural gaps and some time gaps, but I think we can all understand the idea that some folks have advantages and some don't. Some are on the inside and some feel on the outside. And often, and this may be true of you, I can relate to this. I did not grow up on the wrong side of the tracks and struggling, but I often felt on the outside of things and like I wasn't part of what was going on. I often felt kind of constrained by the way that I was perceived and the social groups that I was a part of. And what we'll find is that our protagonist, uh, he's a greaser, and he's not embarrassed about it, but he doesn't really seem comfortable with being reduced to what everybody thinks a greaser is. You can probably relate to that a little bit. We all kind of get stuck in boxes. Are you a jock? Are you a brain? That was like the worst thing to be when I was in high school. Yeah, smart was bad. I can't explain it. And of course we have racial and cultural stereotypes, and people just think, oh, you're one of those. And they put us in this box. And it's not always comfortable, right? It doesn't always fit us because we want to be ourselves and not a stereotype. And so we're going to get a chance to follow a main character who doesn't really fit into that and is struggling with it. And he finds out that some of the people on the other side maybe are struggling as well. It's gritty. It's very real. It's based on some of the real life experiences of the author, and it'll help us to kind of see what stereotypes and treating each other as categories can really lead to, and how awful that can be sometimes. Really great story. I think you'll love it. The chapters are very long, so I'm going to have a challenge trying to kind of break this up for us into bite-sized pieces. In my class, we do 15 minutes of reading each day, so I'm going to try to stick to that. But the chapters do not line up with that at all. There is a movie version. It doesn't really capture the book perfectly, but it's of interest, and there were a ton of really big stars that started out in this movie. You'll probably recognize them, and your parents probably know every single one of them. They went on to be really famous people, and the movie was just littered with big names of that time. So anyway, it's going to be fun. We're going to take it piece by piece. We're going to follow this journey. It's not always fun to watch. Some of the things that happen are upsetting, and you're not going to necessarily like everything that happens. But we're following along on the ride. It's trying to give us a glimpse of the reality of some people who live in a world different from ours. That's kind of what reading's all about, right? Being able to experience life that's outside of your normal experience, and to relate to people that are in a different place and a different time. So I hope you'll be joining us for our readings of The Outsiders, and I'll see you soon.